Process control. So what is process? A process is a program in the execution, and process exists in main memory. So here the diagram is shown for the process in Unix. It consists of stack section, dynamic data section, static data section, code section. PC, that is program counter, is connected to the code section. So what is code section means? It is a sequence of instruction. Next, static data section means for example global variables and arrays. The dynamic data section, it means next is the dynamic data section. Then next, tag data section, for example local variable, functions, procedure parameter and return address. PC is program counter, which shows the next instruction. So the single text program on HTT can be loaded into several processes. For example, multi-user can execute mail program. The process of the program, including a fork system call, will have a child process at the runtime. So there are some types of process. So process may be either operating system process or user process. Next, either input output bound process or CPU bound process. So input output bound process means here the issue lots of input output request and little computation. And CPU bound process means it uses CPU frequently and input output infrequently. Either independent process or cooperating process. So these are the types of processes depending on its work. So process means it is a program which is in execution and it exists in main memory. This is very important. Next is independent processes. So it does not affect the execution of other processes and it is not affected by other processes. Independent processes means it does not affect the execution of other process. Also, it is not affected by the other process and it does not share any data with other process. Cooperative process means, for example, producer or consumer example. So it can affect the execution of other process. It can be affected by other processes and also it share the data with other process, either foreground process or the background process. So foreground process means hold the terminal and it can receive the input and return the output from or to the user. And background process means it is detached from the terminal and it was started. It runs without user interaction. The and sign will allow us to execute a process as a background process in Unix. So run Netscape and the Netscape and observe the difference. So we can see the difference between these two. So next is the process scheduling. Now multi-programming means switch the CPU among the process so efficiently that the CPU is always running. Time sharing means switch the CPU among the process so frequently that user can interact with their program while they are running. Multi-programming means here the CPU is switching among the process that the CPU is always running, and time sharing means here switch the CPU among the process so frequently that user can interact with their program while they are running. So process state, here a diagram for the process here the process state diagram is shown. New process, then it is in ready state, then it is in running state, then it is terminated. Now the loop back from the running, then it will go to the ready state. Now if running is go to the either for the waiting or the block, that is input output or the event wait, then again the input output or event completion, it will go to the ready, and again it is running and then it is terminated. So the new process has a ready state. The ready state means what? The process is waiting to be assigned to the CPU, and running state means an instruction of the CPU of the process is being executed by the CPU. Now the waiting state means what? The process is waiting for the event. For example, an input output completion, termination of child process, a signal message from another process. So this is waiting or blocked state. Next is PCB, that is process control block. Now in PCB, here each process is represented by the PCB in operating system. The process state, the PID, that is process ID, PC, that is program counter, next is the contents of the processor's register, memory limit, list of input output devices allocated to the process, list of open files, etc. For example, priority of the process, amount of CPU time used, and time limit. Scheduling queues. Here there are 3 queues, that is ready queue, several device queue, and several waiting queue. Ready queue means a list of PCBs, that is process control block. Each PCB represents a ready process. Several device queue, it is a list of PCB, and each PCB represents a waiting process who is waiting for an input output completion. For example, tape hash 1 queue, tape hash 2 queue, FTT queue, HTT queue, printer queue, terminal queue, etc. And several waiting queue means it is a list of PCBs, and here each PCB represents a waiting process who is waiting for an event. For example, termination of child process or repetition of signal or message. Next is long-term, short-term and medium-term schedulers. The long-term scheduler means what? In the job pool, in multi-programmed batch system, there are often more processes submitted than can be executed immediately. These processes are spooled to the HDD, that is secondary storage. The long-term scheduler selects the process from the job pool and fills the ready queue. It executes infrequently. It can take more time to select a process. It is mainly used in batch system. Also, it controls the number of processes in main memory. It selects a good mix of input-output bound process and CPU bound process to maximize both the input-output utilization and the CPU utilization. Next, short-term scheduler, that is CPU scheduler. It executes very frequently, must be very fast. It selects a process from the ready queue when the current process releases the CPU. Next, medium-term scheduler, swapping by out partially executed process to temporarily free up main memory by reducing the degree of multiprogramming, that is the number of processes in main memory. Now we may need this scheduler to improve the mix of input-output bound process and the CPU bound process in main memory, or to react to an increase in dynamic memory request, for example MAL, malloc. So this diagram shows the queuing system where waiting queue is shown, device queue is shown, ready queue is shown, swapped out process in the secondary storage. So new process is given to the ready queue. The device queues, waiting queue and the swapped out process in the secondary storage is also given to the ready queue. From ready queue it is given to the CPU. From CPU it is either terminated, either given back to the swapped out process in secondary storage or to the device queues and the waiting queues. So this diagram shows the queuing diagram. Next is the context switching. Context switching occurs when the current current process releases the CPU. The current process releases the CPU voluntarily or involuntarily. So context switching occurs when current process releases the CPU. The operating system updates the PCB, that is process control block, of the current process with the current information. For example, PC program counter, contents of CPU register, etc. The short-term scheduler selects the next process from the ready queue. The OS, that is operating system, load the CPU register with new data from the PCB of the next process to be executed. Start the instruction pointed to by the PC. Frequently occur and expensive, it decreases the system performance. Some solutions such as multiple sets of register, special HW instruction, for example a single instruction to load or store all registers, and threads whenever possible, for example a single process include both produce and consumer, and so next point is process creation and process termination. The Linux or Unix system calls fork, execv, wait, abort, exist 1, 2, 3, or kill, get p and get ppid. So first is a process creation. So there are two, that is parent operation and child. So in parent we consider stack data, in child stack copy data copy, that is child copy the parents. So code section shared real memory. If you use wait system call, the parent wait until some or all of its children terminate. And if you don't use wait system call, then the parent continue to execute concurrently with its children. So if you use only fork call, the child process is duplicate of the parent process. And if you use fork in the parent and execv in the child, the child process will have a program loaded into it. So we have to note that a parent can call a fork several times to create more children, and the child process can also call a fork, a hierarchy of the process. So this figure, after the child calls execv to load P2, the stack data and code of the child, and overwritten. Next is process termination. In Unix, a process terminates when it calls exit or abort. Exit, that is normal termination, abort means abnormal termination. The exit terminates the calling process immediately. Every open file will be closed. All the resources will be freed. The children of the process are inherited by the process. The parent can terminate. So the parent can terminate any of its children with child PID signal operation for a variety of reasons. So note that child can terminate its parent with get point or skill operation. So this is all about the process termination.